Welcome back, guys, to the Legion channel. I am here with a team from Scientific Shutdown, which is Sebastian and Diana. Sebastian, Diana, how's it going today, guys? How are you?
It's not bad.
Pretty good.
Nice. Oh, what part of the world are you guys from, respectively? Are you same area or different parts of the world?
Trying to go, Diana?
Yeah, I'm from a small town in northern Nevada called Elko.
Oh, nice.
And I'm Southeast England.
Nice. Wow. So pretty worlds apart there, working on this game together. That's super cool. How big is your team, by the way? Is it just you two, or you have a bunch more working on this?
There's 9 of us in total.
Nice. And is it all over the world, just like that too?
More like across Britain.
Okay. Plus Diana, it sounds like.
Yeah.
That's funny. Cool. Well, thank you guys for coming on. We're going to do about a half-hour interview today, guys, with the team from Scientific Shutdown, which, of course, is the game we're giving away. And apparently I've run out of codes for already very quickly. So we'll probably have some news on that very soon. But we showed it earlier on the stream, played the first 2 levels for, I think, summer, autumn, fall. Or, sorry, summer, autumn, winter, if that's correct. Just to demo it out. It was super fun to play through all the demo and everything. So you guys watching on chat are more than welcome to ask questions as we go through. If you have thoughts about the game or about game dev in general, we can talk on some of those. I, of course, have some of my own as well. So first of all, can you guys kind of introduce yourselves as to what you do on the project, as well as kind of your own background in gaming or art or anything else there?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Sebastian. I'm the project lead. My job is making sure everyone wakes up on time, fixing problems, programming a lot, doing a bit of level design here and there, but it's mostly management now.
Nice. You're the taskmaster. I can't say that word. Taskmaster of the team. Very cool. And Diana, how about you?
I'm the art lead for 3 artists, myself included, and I kind of dabble in everything, kind of helping everyone solve problems, doing social media, wearing different hats.
Nice. Very cool. How long have you guys been working on games in general? Sebastian, I guess you first.
I suppose in an official capacity, 2 years. We kind of launched with this back in 2019, but we've been working since our university days, 2016 start.
Okay, very cool, very cool. Diana, how about you on the art side? Have you always been doing art in gaming, or is it kind of moved around too?
I've always been doing art, but I just started doing art and gaming in 2016, so
Nice.
About the same as Seb.
Okay, so about 5-ish years for you guys. Very
Yeah.
cool, very cool. Did you work on projects before Scientific Shutdown? I guess Sebastian especially, or is this kind of your first big project?
Oh yeah, I mean we've had all of our kind of major projects from university. We had one commercial project we played around with last year that we took with us to would have been to EGX if it happened. That was a bit ambitious, so we've come back to an older title that we've got a soft spot for.
Nice, very cool. So what's the story behind this game? Like, how did you start developing Scientific Shutdown, and how long have you guys been developing it for?
So this came out as a final project for our undergrad course. We all are from the same university, USW, and University of South Wales, I should specify. It was a restrictive kind of topic. You had to make a full game, start to finish, in 3 months. What we produced was a early version of what you see, very flat colors, everything, 1 level, 1 gun. But it got some interest from outside parties. We had Games Talent Wales contact us saying that they think we would be best to represent Welsh gaming culture or gaming talent. So EGX 2019, we got to showcase our little game with a little bit more polish.
Nice. Yeah, I saw that
And
award. How did that what was that like to have your game at EGX? Especially, it sounds like it was pretty new at that point too.
It's scary. We were right by the door. So we were right as you come through the front door, you see us straight away.
Nice. That's awesome. How is so that was in 2019, you said. So it's been a couple years since that. How has the game changed since you originally created it? Because I know you mentioned it was it had flat colors and things in the beginning, and then so it's in its current state now. Like what's still the same from when you started, and what's different nowadays?
So definitely the visual style has stayed consistent in the sense that it's still very low poly, it's very simple, but we've kind of understood a bit more about what our art style is. So we're going for a lot of warm colors. We're using a lot of the same colors in different ways to get creative. The gameplay loop is fairly the same as it has been, though we've been adding in things like new weapons. So in the one you get to play at the moment, it's got 5.
Oh wow! I only tried 3. I think.
You got the railgun, the shotgun, dual Uzi, and grenade launcher, plus your starting rifle. We've got a lot of power-ups, as you may have seen. That's all been added in lately. And we're currently in the works with I think 13 guns.
Wow.
We've got about the same amount of equipment. So your little bomb that you used, there's going to be a variety of those to choose from. You've got little turrets, freeze grenades, orbital beam cannon.
Holy.
What else? We got the Giga Duck or chicken. Sorry.
Oh, I've seen the chickens. Yeah. That's so funny. I tried the shotgun and that thing is insane. I feel like it sprays the entire screen. You mentioned the warm colors was like a very intentional design. Is that something, Diana, where you came in to kind of influence the team, or is that a broader decision there?
Yeah, we initially started with, I think, a color palette of 20, and we found out that we weren't using all of them. So I kind of weeded it down to about 18, I want to say. Not 18. That's not a lot from 20. I think there's like 12 colors we're using now, and they're very just, they're in the game, and you can tell they're just really nice. Whereas the other colors we were using were kind of like mustard yellow, and there was a really ugly brown that we got rid of. So.
Neat green grass.
Oh yeah.
That's great. It's cool to hear you have intentional colors that kind of have to be passed, and I don't think a lot of games have that, right? Where you have a specific number of colors in the game, especially like today's games that are super 3D. So it's cool to hear that kind of design choice around that. I think it's very interesting. We've had a couple comments in chat too from people. The first question I saw was from Morsey, who asked Sebastian how long it takes him to get that hair looking like butter in the morning.
Oh, I mean, with lockdown, it's basically just wake up and go.
Yeah.
This is, I think this is the longest my hair has ever been. It's normally quite short back and sides, but being locked indoors for almost a year, I'll do that.
Right. It's nice to be able to just get up and go for sure. Okay, so let's jump into a little bit more. Oh, yeah, so Allie had a good question, which I think we've all wondered today. The name, Scientific Shutdown, where did this come from? Like, what's the story behind there?
So I understand it's not very clear in the beta. There's a lot of story element that we're implementing in at the moment, a lot of more voice lines that happen in the game. But it was to tell the story about our evil scientist, Dr. Hans Trottelstein, which is German for stupid, I believe. Who is a failed supervillain, and his purpose is to try and recover his science empire by capturing people off the street and using them as test subjects against his legion of rock monsters. So the science part is you trying to ruin those tests, which you've been doing a very good job at so far.
Okay, so that might explain. So the things that you're killing are his test subjects. Is that right?
Yeah, so the whole thing is it's supposed to be like a simulation. So it's all supposed to be in a computer setting, which is why they all dissolve when they die, and
that's why
everything loads in at the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. You start. I love that like retro load screen, by the way, and that whole interface from like early '90s from the computer. That's super cool to go back through. Diana, were you involved in designing of that piece of the game?
Yeah, so I was really intrigued by the idea of making it look like we're looking at a computer screen. So I made the UI for that. And luckily we have a UI artist who made it look 10 times better. And hopefully with the release, it will look the way we want it to, because we've got a nice intro scene that zooms in on an old like Windows 95 PC monitor. So
nice. Yeah, and I noticed you have like the kind of like the ray tube look to the screen throughout the gameplay, right? There's the border going around it, so
yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. There's a question from Peachy Fit, which I think is cool. Said, did you find any inspiration from your favorite games when developing this one? And if so, which ones? And I guess it could be like the art style too for you, Diana. But Sebastian, do you have any? I know you're on the project management side, but I'm sure you're involved in the actual, design of the game too. So any games that inspire you on this one a little bit?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I think the core comes from Dead Ops Arcade, from Call of Duty Black Ops, that kind of gameplay loop, and the old retroness of that kind of arcade machine is what kind of inspired the arcade style of our game. But certainly, I think games like Overcooked and Gang Beasts, where it's that kind of fun, casual, 10-minute round with a couple of friends trying to like bop each other off of something.
Awesome, very cool. Diana, how about you on the art side, or even games that inspire you as well in general?
Well, I was a realistic artist before we started this, so doing the stylized art was a big turnaround for me. But I think what really encouraged me was the retro look. So I was looking into retro games, specifically like Pac-Man and all of those fun arcade games, mainly for the color and why people gravitated towards them so much. So those ones.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, especially the whole design of the retro PC and everything. It makes a lot of sense to take inspiration from there too. That's super cool. A lot of good questions coming in from chat now, actually. So I don't know if you know the answer to this one, Sebastian, but Jib was asking if you used Blueprint for the code or if you hard-coded some of the code on that side. Does that seem like something you can answer?
Yes. So I'm not a programmer by trade. It's something I have kind of wiggled into somehow. So it's definitely been blueprints all the way for us.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like I talk to people, even if you're not an actual developer, like a coder at these, it seems like everybody at some point gets involved on making the game at these companies and when you're on these projects. So that makes sense. Cool. Let's go back to some others over here really quickly. So one of the themes that we look at in a lot of these interviews is people who want to get into developing games or the games industry in general. How did you guys kind of end up where you are at now, where you're working on a game? I would think full-time probably for both of you guys. Yep. So for people who want to get there, do you have any advice for people to try to make that path happen? I guess Sebastian first.
Well, I suppose it depends if you want to go indie, AA, or AAA. I'm going to assume those people know those terms because games. But if you want to go into a small studio or kind of medium-sized studio, it's really not a really matter of like uni. It's just kind of getting started. Because when I started, I was in sixth form. And I was just writing design documents, very exciting stuff. And all of a sudden, I was kind of thrown into this kind of world of games from doing that. And everyone can at this point, Unreal. We use Unreal, and there's Unity, there's Godot. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of choices when it comes to different game engines to learn. A lot of them, like Unreal and Unity, I think Unity's doing it now with blueprint coding. It's never been easier to get into games, but certainly Uni is still a good option, especially if you want to specialize, or if you want to start your own studio or go into AAA. Uni's probably going to be a lot better for you in those sort of situations.
So you think university is still pretty important for people who want to get into game development specifically versus like doing it yourself?
I think it's especially good for people that don't have that initial push to go out and find how to get started themselves. I mean, if you look for game jams, make mods, certainly. There's a lot of options when it comes to getting started.
Right. Awesome.
I got into uni with a portfolio of Minecraft builds.
Hey, there you go.
It's always start somewhere.
That's so cool. You can use that on college applications now, right? Like Minecraft. That's super cool. Diana, how about your side on the artist side? And I know, you were doing more of the realistic stuff before versus what you're doing now, but like, do you have thoughts on people who want to get into maybe the art side of gaming in general?
Well, playing games is definitely the first step. But also looking outside of games, because I draw a lot of inspiration from movies, TV shows, books, other like 2D art, like paintings that people do. So it's like looking outside of the games is definitely important, I think. But knowing your medium that you're working in is very important. So just playing around with 3ds Max or is it SketchUp that you use, Seb?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Nice. That's super cool. So, and just kind of taking a lot of inspiration from other sides, even outside of gaming, but especially in gaming, it sounds like from your side.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
cool. We had another question from Jib, which again is more complex a little bit. I don't know if Sebastian knows this one, but speaking of complex, how complex is the AI in the game? I guess for all the subjects that you're trying to kill, do they have behaviors, or is it find the player and run towards them? That kind of thing.
I'm pretty sure it is mostly just find player and attack. Though there is a little complexity. Some AI have a bias that they will try and seek out at all costs. So if you're hiding in the corner, usually they go for the nearest, but if you're hiding in the corner, they'll still get you. So that's something we have taken into account. And there's the whole whether they can leap off of objects or not, when they're technically in the level or not. You don't want the power up spawning outside of the level.
Right. Yeah, I noticed that some would like stand on boxes and some would just go really fast at you. So there's definitely different kinds there. Speaking of, that reminds me of, I saw in the menu when starting up, there was like a multiplayer option that was crossed out, or co-op. Is that something you guys are planning on? Because it seems like you're teasing it that way.
Yeah, so co-op is, I'd say, 90% finished.
Nice.
It worked at EGX, then it didn't. And so we've been recovering it. Multiplayer as well, online co-op is something we're looking at, and we want to expand that into online versus at some point.
So like PvP as well, not just co-op.
Well, it's a bit hard to do PvP in this sort of situation, but certainly ways of fighting opponents for the score.
Okay, like highest score kind of thing. That makes sense. I was wondering like how you would do that with multiple people shooting at each other, but cool. That's really cool to hear that the development's there, because we've had a couple questions about it, I think even in our community already. So very cool. There was a question for Diana. I don't know if this is an actual question or not. Does the name Rossio sound familiar to you guys? R. Rossio? Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then I'll ask it then. What is my chocolate fountain and gummy bears? That was the question for you. Does that sound familiar?
Oh, yeah. So we reached out on social media and asked what we should implement into our new Candyland level that we're making. And Rocio really wants a chocolate fountain and some gummy bears. So we are making some giant gummy bears that will be in the level. And we have a chocolate fountain. We haven't got it working yet, though.
Nice. I didn't know those even being developed. So Rocio dropping the hints in the chat right now. That's super funny. Another question from Jib was, do you guys have any family members who work in games for you guys, either on the game it sounds like, or in general by chance?
I mean, this is probably a question best for Diana.
Yeah, so Jib is my brother.
Oh.
And
that would explain it.
He does work in games. He's in Salt Lake right now, Salt Lake, Utah.
Nice.
And my brother-in-law and his brother work in board games up in Nottingham.
Wow. So you got a whole gaming family up there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, let's move on a little bit here. So you guys have been working on this game, obviously during COVID and everything being remote. It sounds like most of you are in the UK, Sebastian, but obviously Diana being over in the US as well. What's it been like to develop the game? You got to move over there soon, Diana.
Diana's a little bit more local to us than you would expect. She's Cardiff at the moment.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we abducted her.
Nice. Well, okay. Still, in that sense, though, COVID's still impacting everything. So did it change how you worked on the game? Because I know you were working on this since 2019 and before everything hit. So how did that kind of change your roadmap?
Certainly. I mean, I'm a good example because as soon as it started to kick off, it's family members going, "Come back." I was like, okay. So I had to leave Cardiff behind, unfortunately, a little too early. So having that physical interaction with each other in the work has certainly we've missed out on being able to see people's work as it's happening, talk to them, point out things as it's happening. But we found a nice little pattern of work. We know what time we're going to chat with each other. We know how we are going to manage files over such a long distance. That certainly has been one of the biggest trouble was project management of the files itself.
Right.
That's all that's all pretty good now though. So,
Nice. So
but
you've
we would
kinda-
like to get back to that physical.
Yeah. Do you guys have an office that you work out of, or would like to work out of?
Would like to, certainly. We mostly used the university. They had a startup studio we were just about to apply for,
Oh,
and then
somebody
yeah.
grabbed
So
it.
no, we couldn't go because we
Oh,
had to leave.
Yeah, that too.
But
Cool. Well, I'm
yeah.
just curious because I know it's shifted a lot of the way people work and also project roadmaps and stuff for a lot of companies, Lenovo included. So it's kind of cool to hear how it's impacted you guys too. But hopefully, be getting back to it soon. We'll have to see. Cool. I think that's getting through most of the questions that I have. Can you talk about maybe just the game in general for like what the roadmap is for you guys right now? Because it's in beta that we played through today. I don't know if you can share any release dates or anything. You totally don't have to, but anything you can share about the future development of the game.
So we're very optimistically hoping for a end of July release. We are going to have the demo. You've played the beta, but the full demo will be available in June. We'll be in the Steam Next festival with that, which is quite exciting.
Nice.
As for the full release, currently we've got 3 maps as you've played. The full release is going to have somewhere between 6 and 10. At the moment, I can name we've got the 3 that you've played, Summer, Autumn, Winter, which are getting a bit of a name change. I believe it's in that particular order. It's Port Peril is summer. I think Forest Frenzy is autumn and Mad Mountain is winter. We've also got a rooftop Japan theme level.
Oh, nice.
A Candyland theme level and a robot factory.
Wow.
That we're working on.
Are they all?
And we've got a lot.
Are they all
Go on.
alliterative? So it's all like, would you say Forest Frenzy and all that kind of stuff?
That's the plan.
Yes.
We've got. What have we got? We've got a hell of a lot more weapons. We've got lots more equipment to use. We're having a shop to upgrade your gear with in between levels.
Nice. Very cool.
There's a lot we hope for. Yeah.
Okay, but you're still planning in the kind of the July timeframe for the release. Is that right?
That's the plan. If we release, we'll have some additional features that we're going to continue supporting over the next year or so. New maps, new enemy types.
Mhm.
So anything that doesn't manage to get just in time for that July will be the next thing that comes straight out afterwards.
Nice. Well, that's super exciting. I'll definitely be following it to see the full release because it was super fun, and I could see, especially with the new maps and co-op down the road, things like that too, could add a lot of freshness over time for the game. So super exciting. I think that's most of my big questions, honestly, because we talked about the story of the game and kind of the future of it, as well as your own, both of you, the experience in games and advice for others. So thank you for the quick interview. I really appreciate and it's a super fun game. I know you guys have an announcement, I believe, for the community as well. So I'll pass the floor to you for that really quickly if you'd like.
Well, first off, because we saw how quickly the keys went, we're going to try and see if we can get some more. We're going to try and ask Steam super nicely if they'll give us maybe 2,000 more, hopefully.
Nice.
But our announcement, it's a little hard to notice on the main menu. There is a feedback button, and that feedback button takes you to a form. If you fill out that form and give us some inspiration for the game, give us any critiques, any feedback, suggestions, what you like, what you don't like, at the very end, there's a special surprise. If you can give us your permission, we will put you into a raffle, and the 50 people picked at random will get a free copy of the full game when it releases.
Nice. That's awesome, guys. So if you've already gotten the game, you can go in the feedback section now, I think, correct? And
Right
do
in the
that?
main menu.
Yep.
It's below credits that doesn't work.
If you can
Was
find
it settings?
Very cool. And it sounds like we'll try to get some more codes too. And I'm going to look into that as well because I'm surprised we ran through 1,000. We opened it yesterday, so that's really fast to go through those. But I'll check and hopefully we can get some more either way. But Sebastian, Diana, thank you guys so much for joining from UK, sounds like, for both of you. So
Yeah, thanks
really
for having
appreciate it and hope you guys have a fantastic day. Anything you want to say before we sign off about the game and how they can follow it?
Yeah, so you want to go, Diana?
Yeah, so we have our website has gone live. It's definelogicstudios.com. And we have Twitter and Instagram, which are both at definelogicusw. And in June, we will be opening up our Discord community.
Nice.
And we just want to say thanks to everyone who's already gotten a key. And yeah, thanks for having us on the interview.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. Chat, we'll be back in about 5 minutes and we'll talk more about Scientific Shutdown, and I'm going to look into that code situation. But thank you guys both for being here, and this will be on our community afterwards. If anybody wants to re-watch the VOD, it'll be up there. So thanks again, guys. Be back in about 5 minutes, and see you then. Right back.